Hi all. Now we are going to see how the UPS or the uninterruptible power supply works. Basically, an UPS is one where we provide a supply to the load continuously. The name from the name itself, the output is not getting disturbed or there is no interruption in the power supply to the load, even if there is an AC supply or not, or if there is any small drop or dip in the voltage supply. Sort of voltage drop occurs even though if there is no power supply failure, if there is a voltage drop also that may affect our loads like computers or any other sensitive electronic applications. In such cases, we need to bypass or we need to have a standby one. So that is done through the UPS. Here we have two types of UPS. One is online UPS and the other one is an offline UPS. So online UPS is one where we have irrespective of the online or offline UPS. Before moving on to the online, I'll say irrespective of the type of UPS, generally we'll have an AC supply, a battery charger which is also known as a rectifier, and a battery and an inverter which is providing the controlled frequency, and we have the static switches. These are the main components of a UPS. Now, moving on to the online UPS, as based on the structure, you can easily see the AC supply comes here. And a normal power flow means when there is no sort of emergency or even if there is, if there is no any main off or there is no power interruption, so this battery is getting charged to the rectifier and the inverter is one which is going to provide the voltage through the battery or through the AC supply irrespective of the supply available or not to the load. So during a normal condition means there is a AC power supply available. In that case, this battery charger is going to charge the battery and the supply is moved on through the inverter through the static switch to the load. If in case there is a power supply failure or dip in voltage, then automatically the batteries come in role and the voltage is passed on through the inverter to the load. And again, once again, even if my AC supply is regained, then the supply is getting, the supply charges the battery once again and through the rectifier and the inverter supplies the load. The point is, even if there is a supply or not, the battery is getting charged or it is the state of battery is going to be maintained because when there is supply it is getting charged and once the supply is gone it is supplying the load, so automatically the battery is getting charged once the supply regains. So irrespective of the supply is there or not available or not, the load to the supply to the load is not disturbed. It is just passed on through the inverter, either from the supply or through the battery. Now there is one more path where if in case there is a problem in the inverter, if there is some you know any power flow failure in the flow path in the inverter path or this path, then automatically there is one more static converter through which the supply passes on through the static switch 1 to the critical load. Basically, this static switch 1 and 2 are nothing but an AC voltage controller. Means instead of a mechanical switch, we have this electronics converter where it just takes 4 to 5 milliseconds to change over from one state to the other, or even if the power fails, it just takes a few milliseconds, like 4 to 5, to move on from the battery or to the AC supply. So there is no sort of any disturbance that will cause to the load, and same happens in this case also. And the regain or the changeover happens based on the ampere hour rating of the battery. That helps us to pass on to the state from one to the other. So this is about the online UPS. Let us check how the offline UPS works. The entire circuit is same, but the flow of path varies. Here the battery is again charged to the battery charger or the rectifier, and the load is being supplied through the AC supply, and here it is not through the inverter path. Under normal working condition, the AC supply passes through the static switch 1 and the load is being supplied. Whereas if the power fails, then this battery comes into role or the inverter comes into role. So the power flow goes on this way through the static switch 2. So under normal power condition, or once again even if the power supply regains, then the battery is getting charged to the battery charger or the rectifier, and the power flows through the static switch 1. So this is about the offline UPS. So in case of online, it was like the path was this way. It was the static switch 2, which was always the one normally on condition that works here, whereas in case of offline UPS, the normally on is the static switch 2. Thank you.